Hey guys, so over the past few weeks you may have noticed, yeah, I'm getting into medieval gaming. And I got this recent one, Pillage. This is by Victrix. Again, links down below, guys, to everything I'm sort of showing and using. So lovely little book. Obviously it has all the rules in here and everything else, but also goes into detail about that sort of the medieval time, which is pretty cool. Some awesome looking pictures, some scenery, obviously all the details you need to know about all the different war bands you can get. But also at the back of the book, it shows how to sort of, well, if you're new to the to this sort of gaming thing, how to sort of make up the miniatures, how to paint them, and even how to make some simple terrain, which is just awesome. So there's quite a few war bands, and I'm starting off with the Vikings just because, well, they're Vikings, so I couldn't help myself. The thing I love with this, it's all by Victrix. You get 36 miniatures in here, and you get 36 miniatures here for the price of, well, you'd probably get 10 of that other well-known game that I used to sort of be into. This video isn't sponsored by anyone. This is just me, obviously, having fun. The miniatures and that were sent to me kindly by Victrix, but obviously, I'm never told what to say or what to do or in that kind of malarkey. I'm literally going to, well, I'm going to cut these out, glue them together, paint them up, and yeah, honestly, guys, I'm so excited about this, the medieval period. Obviously, I've always been into sort of sci-fi and fantasy, but one of my big things is knights. I love knights, love the medieval area or era even. So to have all these kind of miniatures is just great. So as you can see, yeah, there's nice little sort of details here on how you can assemble them. Obviously, I've not played the game yet, so I may not be making these up as best as I can. And in all the miniatures, you have options of what weapons they have and whether or not they have shields. Obviously, that's me just showing you some of the tools I'm using. Don't need many, just need cutters, a scraper or a file, and some glue. So I'm starting off with these. These are the sort of commandos, captains, or whatever they're called. But yes, I love the fact you can just make these how you want. So you can make up a Viking team, and it'll be different looking to a friend's Viking team. Although hopefully they'd have something different from Vikings, and the Saxons or the Normans. So there's quite a few different war bands, which is great. And Victrix are bringing out, well, even more war brands to play with, which is just really cool. So usual sort of thing, all on sprues. So yeah, you never know, guys. I might make things with these sprues, as you've seen in the past. So you just cut out the obviously the little parts, do a bit of cleaning up. So sometimes these do still have, well, rather sort of mold lines, or where you've cut them from the sprue, there could just be little bits there. So just scrape them off, or use a small file, whichever you prefer. Obviously, I'm using a blade. I mean, as they say, never cut towards yourself. But unfortunately, when you're doing this, it's very difficult to not cut towards yourself. So just be careful what you're doing. Yeah, that is black paint on my thumb. Yeah, apologies, guys. Sometimes my fingers are still dirty or painted from previous projects. Because basically, I normally have about 3 or 4 projects on the go. Just because obviously I love what I'm doing, and I like to have a lot of variety. So rather than sort of working solely on one thing, sometimes I do flick between projects. That being said, yeah, didn't do that with these guys, as I wanted to see how quick I could paint 36 miniatures. I've done batch painting before, but I think the most I've ever painted in one hit was sort of 12. Not too sure. I'd have to look through some of the videos, but yeah, I don't think I've painted more than 12 miniatures in one go. And as I say, I wanted to see if I could do a full 36 miniatures and how long that would take me. And I was quite surprised. It didn't take half as long as I thought. Again, that's why speed painting, well, speed painting, batch painting is a great combo for getting lots of miniatures tabletop ready. Yeah, as always, whenever I'm doing these kind of miniatures, I don't like using the plastic bases, mainly because they're too thick. I like bases where you can't really see they're on a base. So that's why I'm using these sort of 1mm metal discs. I got this from Amazon. I don't think it was too bad. I think it's about a pack of about 40 of these, about £8. But obviously they're nice and thin, and they've got a little bit of weight to them as well, which is pretty cool. So there's the first lot of miniatures or Vikings painted up, or not painted up, made up. I say with the sprue, there's loads of bits left off or left over. So yeah, I will be sort of cutting them off and putting them in a little box. Yeah, guys, anyone new to my channel, I don't do any scripting, which is obvious to see or hear. Yeah, I'm just a guy sitting at a desk, being a big kid, having fun, and videoing it so you guys can see, well, how I get along. And obviously, any mistakes I make in videos, I leave them in because I think that's a great way of learning, both for myself and I think for anyone watching. Learn by my mistakes. I do make some I do make some mistakes in this. They're almost like the schoolboy error ones. They're mistakes that you shouldn't really make, but yeah, I did. Anyway, you'll see them later on. So obviously, lots of miniatures to cut out. So the detail in these is just awesome. Yeah, these really are well-made miniatures. So you get a pack of 36. I don't know the exact price, guys. I'm going to chuck out a figure. I think it's £32. Link down below. Go and check them out because I am guessing because I've got a memory like a sieve. So doing the archers are the last ones to do. The archers and there's these little slingers. Yeah, I'm not going to bake any slingers up because I like the idea of just all archers. Again, I've not even seen what sort of with these warbands. Obviously, you play a game and you have so much gold to spend to buy your warband. Um, so I don't know which ones. I mean, the slingers might be better than archers. I honestly don't know. And obviously, I haven't given them all shields. So again, guys, anyone who's actually played the game, I think I've got maybe half of my people have got shields, half haven't. Would I normally have shields on all of them? I don't know. Probably not the archers because, well, they're just going to be shooting their archers. But obviously, I've got loads of shields left over. So my thinking is, if it comes to it, I can make more shields up and stick them on the backs of some of these miniatures. But yeah, so lots of bits left over. Say they stay in the little box and be used for other things. So printing handles. Yeah, obviously I'm going to do 36 miniatures in one go. So I have got a lot of printing handles, as you can see. These are the sort of ones I made up, 3D printed. I stuck double-sided tape on the top. So it's just a case of taking the double-sided tape off and sticking them on. But before we do that, because obviously I jumped ahead of myself even when I was doing this, I need to do the basing. Because I am making so many of these up, I'm keeping the basing real simple just by putting a little bit of this sort of fine sort of sand down. And then there will be some grass and tufts of grass, obviously later on in the video. Oh, guys, this video is going to be a long one. Obviously, it's quite long already. Yeah, grab a cup of tea, biscuits, popcorn. I've tried to edit this down as little as I can because I like to have shorter videos. Well, I'll say shorter videos. 8 to 15 minutes is a good one. But I also don't like cutting out bits that are needed or necessary. So yeah, I'm keeping everything in because I want to show you exactly the whole process of kind of what I was doing and obviously all the colors, paints that I was using. So yeah, obviously just gluing the sand on. So with the sand, I've got a huge big bag of this. It's fish tank sand. So I think it's like a 5 kilogram bag and it cost me, I mean, about £5 or £8. So guys, yeah, when basing, don't buy little packs of stuff because obviously it works out quite expensive. Just go and Google or look up on Amazon. That's where I buy all my stuff from. Fish tank and then gravel or rocks or stones or whatever it is because you get so much more for so little. And obviously when you're making loads of miniatures up, yeah, you ought to keep costs down. So with these, say double-sided tape, I find the easiest way to get that off because sometimes it is as tricky as anything. I get my scalpel, poke it, and then just peel off. So yeah, nice and simple to do that. So with the bases, obviously make sure there's no sort of sand underneath. Obviously these have now dried, so I can just sort of get it off with my my fingernail, and then push them down, and then rinse and repeat. So yeah, guys, with batch painting, it is basically rinse and repeat. You'll see exactly coming up, but this does make it so much quicker to get your miniatures painted. Obviously, if you want to spend a lot longer on each miniature, yeah, go ahead, do that. Obviously, for me, I wanted to get these all done, tabletop ready, so obviously I can start playing the game. I've been working on the gaming board for a while now, because obviously I'm doing Baron's War as well. And the great thing is you can use the same board game, or yeah, base with all the miniatures. So I've put loads on, but obviously I'm doing 36. Yeah, I don't have 36 paint handles. So I'm surprised I've got this amount because I'm sure the biggest batch I've ever done before has been 12. So yeah, knocking out loads more on the old Bambu A1 printer. Love these printers because yeah, just love them. So this is a very deep or thick layer height. So it's not going to take too long to get another. I think I did another, was it 18, 17? Whatever it was, I've got enough to do 36 miniatures in one hit, which is just ludicrous. Yeah, it's a crazy amount of miniatures to paint in one hit. But I say it speeds things up so much quicker because it is, well, you batch painting. It's like a production line. So I'm really pleased with how these came out. So by doing speed painting a big batch, you're not really sacrificing sort of how you would paint them or how good they come out. Because for me, I always speed paint miniatures. So if I'm doing 1 or 36, they're all going to get sort of the same amount of time on each one, same sort of detail, and yeah, I'm going to love how they come out. So obviously priming in black, first thing to do. I normally would do dry brushing here because there's so many. Yeah, I've opted to not dry brush these with white. I've just done the good old spraying white from above. And yeah, it's come out perfectly. So yeah, quick and easy way. So dry brush all of these. Yeah, that would have taken me a long time. So yeah, good old zenithal lighting, zenithal priming from above. So that's a case of getting the paints out. Picked out a few ones that I know I'm definitely be using on all of them. Obviously, metal for all their armor, the brown for sort of straps and bits and pieces, flesh because well they got skin. Brownish decay is probably going to be the base. So batch painting, yeah, it is a case of getting a miniature, getting whatever paint it is you're going to start off with. And in this case, I'm going to be doing the skin, and you paint the skin on one miniature. Then when that's done, you put it down, you pick up another one, and you do the skin on that miniature. And then it is a case of rinse and repeat. So you do all the miniatures in whatever color it is you're doing. So I picked out colors that I know are going to be in every single one, just because then, well, they're going to be in every single one. So some of the other miniatures, as you'll see coming up, I'll pick a blue, but then I'll only do the blue on say 5 different miniatures. And then I do a red, and I'll do that on a different 5 miniatures, and so on, and well, so forth, really. If you do play Pillage, and obviously do the Vikings as well, if you can let me know in the comments what would be a good sort of 500 gold point warband. Just to say, I've not even read, well, I've read some of the rules, and I've watched a few other people's gameplay, so I do like how the gameplay of this game sort of works out. And I love the fact that obviously with the pillaging, there's different objectives you can sort of make up to sort of capture or to burn down, which sounds really, really cool. But yeah, so I've only got about half of them have got shields because I really wasn't too sure, well, how many you'd take with shields. But the good thing is there's so many leftover bits, I can change bits over. Obviously, these are glued together, but you can get some sort of like degluer. If I needed to sort of take any arms off or change the weapons out or any of that kind of stuff. Or I reckon the best thing is you just make more models or buy more models, just so you can have, well, even bigger sort of warband armies, which would be really, really cool. So say I've got these. I have got the Normans, the Saxons, and then is it the Russ or something like that? But I'm hopefully going to be getting all the different warbands because I know Victrix do have sort of some new ones coming out soon as well. And they also have some lovely looking sort of sergeants, like the old kind of knight looking ones. And yeah, hope to be doing videos on them. So guys, yeah, we're doing like videos on all of them. Basically, it's obviously showing me, well, like this video, showing me building them up and then painting them. And the chances are I'm going to be batch painting all of them. Just because this is a far easier way of getting a ton of miniatures done. Basically in an afternoon. Obviously, when I say it took me 3 hours, that wasn't including the putting these together, doing a little basing bit, doing the priming bit. It was literally 3 hours from when I kind of started to sort of batch paint, as in start putting speed paint on them, to when I was done. I say 3 hours. It's very difficult for me to give an exact time. I know it was under 3 hours, because obviously I'm filming myself. So a lot of the time I have to keep moving the camera about just to try and change the angles. Although I may start just having the camera up high in one point because that will make things, well, a whole lot quicker for me. I know that, and then just zoom in every now and then. But yeah, as I say, to be able to get so many done in an afternoon. Again, obviously, this is where we're all different, guys. I know some people might want to spend more time painting because they really obviously enjoy the process. But I know for me, when it comes to say doing the speed painting, it doesn't matter if I did one miniature or if I did, say, well, in this case, 36 miniatures, they'll all come out looking, well, in my eyes, decent enough for me. And yeah, I say again, this is where a painted miniature looks so much better than an unpainted miniature. And I know when I first started my little venture into this hobby, I used to get put off by watching other painters, them making it so easy, and then when I tried to paint, it looked like a dog's dinner, and it didn't matter if I spent half hour painting a miniature or I could spend 6 hours painting a miniature. I think if anything, the longer I painted something, the worse it got. So that's why I love the fact of obviously using speed paints, obviously contrast paints, dipping inks, and I think nearly every sort of brand out there now has their own kind of these sort of wash look inks, which is really good because obviously it gives you more variety. I know, say I normally use the Army Painter speed paints and Green Stuff World dipping inks, and the great thing with that is it means I've got so many variations of each color, as in sort of like browns. I think I've got about, I don't know, about a dozen browns. Greens, I think I've got about 18 odd greens. Purples, yeah, there's about another dozen purples. So that means you can have a lot of variation in the colors. So with the painting of the Vikings, well, and any of the sort of medieval miniatures that I am now painting, I'm trying not to do anything too vibrant. If you know my channel, you know I love orcs, and orcs are just crazy things, and you can paint them as loud and proud as you want, just because it's funny, it looks great, and obviously they don't take themselves seriously. Well, they're not real, I know, but you can really go like wild, painting them really sort of vivid colours. But with obviously these kind of things, I'm trying to keep the tones a bit darker, a bit lower, a bit dingier, I guess, just to sort of make them a bit more fitting for their era. As I think it'd only be like the kings and queens on their special days would have some real nice looking sort of colourful garments. So everything else, yeah, I'm trying to keep them a bit dowdy. But I do still do washes as well. So this is the great thing about the speed paints and the different inks. They don't react. If you then paint over them, yeah, they're not going to react at all. And that's something I do with my sort of if I say to paint one miniature or a larger sort of bust or whatever, then yeah, sometimes I will paint them with a speed paint, let it dry, and then paint them over the top with a different speed paint, just to get a good variation in the color. Normally, skin tones is a great way of messing about with that. And again, that's the other thing about the hobby. It is trial and error. Try things. If you don't like it, don't do it again. If you do like it, great. Or this is why I like watching other people paint. I see what they do, but then sometimes I might take what they do and change it a little bit to sort of suit and fit how I paint and my style of painting, which is pretty cool. Apologies if I am sort of waffling on here. This is a bit where I feel weird because obviously you can see what I'm doing in the videos. So I feel weird explaining, yeah, I'm painting his shoulder green, I'm painting this, that, and but obviously I want to show you all of the sort of colors that I am using in this video. And I know a lot of people, when I do get comments, they say that they just sort of have me on in the background, typically when they go to sleep, I guess, because my voice makes them fall off. No, they have me in the background, obviously, when you guys are painting. And I know it's the same for me. Sometimes I'm sitting painting, I will be sort of watching other people. Well, that being said, when I was painting these, I was watching the new series on BBC, King and Country. Yeah, I was watching that just because, well, I love that kind of sort of feel and film or TV show because it is obviously medieval ages. So there's a lot of sort of knights and that sort of stuff. And I might have to rewatch Vikings. I think I've seen it. I've seen all of the episodes a couple of times already anyway. But yeah, just to get me more in the feel for, well, how to paint the miniatures, really, I guess, what kind of colours and looks we should be going for. But again, a lot of it is just having fun with it. And I know I certainly do have fun. So even with the batch painting, yeah, it's still, it's not like I'm trying to rush through the miniatures. I just want a nice quick way of getting loads of them done at once. And I say the fact that obviously like now I'm doing the brown on him, I'm going to do the same brown on the little geezer behind him. But then I'll also use this brown for other people's tunics or leggings or bits and pieces. And it's just a nice quick way of, well, going through all of them and getting them all done. So yeah, pleased with how they're coming along. With my guys, I'm giving them, well, I wanted to give them all sort of like ginger, redhead, but the best color I could find was actually the Zealot yellow. Obviously, it's called yellow, but as you can see, it's definitely more of an orange. Um, yeah, I know you probably wouldn't get this many Vikings or this many of any kind of warband with the same color hair, but well, this is my world that they're living in. So yeah, so for my video and for my little people, they're all going to have this sort of, well, yellow, red, orangish hair. Yeah, love it. So again, you do one, go around, and just do all the other. It does make painting so much simpler. And so the fact I've got all of them done in one afternoon. So I've actually, as I'm recording this, I've just got out the, what am I doing now? I'm doing other Normans, I think it is. Um, oh, I've forgotten already. Oh no, it's Saxons. That's how good a memory I've got. I only just started doing them this morning. But yeah, I got the Saxon Warband, and I love them because they've got horses. And the reason I'm really excited is because I've never painted horses before, so it's going to be a first for me. So I've got some Saxons on horses, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting them painted up. Again, that video will be similar to this one. I will show the stages of me obviously assembling the miniatures, and then obviously me going through painting them, basing them, and all the rest. So as you saw from the very beginning, the little footage of the little clip at the beginning of this video, yeah, that's all 36 painted. Um, Again, it's really weird. When I am painting things, sometimes as you're painting them, you look at the miniatures and you think, yeah, they look all right, but nothing special. It's really weird. It's when you get to the end and you start adding a little bit of a wash here and there, because obviously with these, I painted the silver parts. It's just a normal silver, so it's not like a speed paint there. Um, there's Indy. Yeah, she does like to jump up and interrupt me every now and then, which isn't too bad because she's a lovely cat. Just doesn't know boundaries. So yeah, so with these guys, obviously, I'm not going to have a go at painting the shields freehand because I'm just pants at that. So I'm going to be using these little big man transfers. Again, from Victrix, guys, go check out the links down below. Uh, awesome amount of stuff they do there. But yeah, they do transfers for shields. And they very kindly sent me a load of transfers, which is cool because I did have a go at painting some shields. But yeah, they came out bad. I can't paint shields. So with some of the bits, as you can see, I am using normal colors here. I say normal colors. They're not speed paints. Um, it's just normal colors. So these ones will get a wash over them because otherwise they look too clean, too neat. And there we go. So there's my army. It's come along really well. Really pleased how quick and easy this was to get so many done. So now I believe I'm going to have a go at doing transfers. So guys, I do make a mistake here. Obviously, that's why I'm leaving it in so you can see what I did. And what a simple mistake it was. So the transfers. These are a bit different to normal ones, as in these are, well, they're printed on an inkjet printer. So yeah, so these are done a little bit different to how you normally do it. So I bought myself some nice sharp scissors to be able to sort of cut round neatly. And obviously you've got to take out that hole in the center. And the easiest way to that is with a hole punch. So I bought myself a hole punch as well. Although the hole punch is supposedly the same size as the hole there, but it doesn't take it out in one go. So it's a case of doing it at once and then carefully going round and just sort of clipping out the rest of it. But obviously that makes it so much easier than trying to cut that out with a scalpel. So yeah, there we go. And then it is a case of each one of these little shields needs to be sort of cut out so it's on its own, because we have to sort of peel off some backing. But before doing that, you have to cut round. So here's, yeah, I actually make two errors. The first error is I almost cut within the line. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So when I'm cutting this out, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm doing a good job going around, sort of cutting it nice and neat on the line. It's nice and circular. But then when you see me offer it up to the shield, it's like it's shrunk. And that's because I cut within the line, not sort of like on the edge of the line. So I've actually made it a little bit smaller. Again, I could see a bit of white. I didn't want that. I still took it out. So with these, yeah. So you can see what I've done there. When I looked at it, I was like, what? But I thought, no, keep with it because I'll show you how I corrected the mistake in a minute or a few minutes. So yeah, with these, it's a case of peeling off that clear film. You can just about see there's some clear film there. Because then that side is sticky on the shield. As you can see, it's stuck to your finger. So it is a case of sticking that down, because it's sticky side down. And then say, put the transfers on, real easy, guys. That's not where the mistakes were made. They were definitely operator error mistakes. And then all we've got to do is get some water, because all you need to do is wet the back of the transfer. I use a small brush here. I don't know why I'm using such a small brush. I do use a bigger brush afterwards for the rest of them, just because, well, this small brush, it's a small brush. As you can see, I have to keep loading that with water. So yes, you put water on the backing, and then all you got to do is leave it sort of 20, 30 seconds, which is cool. So I did the one, and then I thought I would do several more, because obviously it's like a batch painting, might as well batch paint everything else as well. So as you can see, yeah, this is the first mistake. Yeah, well and truly cut within inside the line. So obviously I lost quite a bit of the transfer. So I thought, yeah, don't do that again. So I learned by that mistake. But then I do make another mistake, which you will see coming up soon. So as you can see, yeah, the other two circles, they fill up the shield perfectly. This one, not so much. But I thought, no, I'll leave it as it is, because I could have taken the pattern off and put a new one on. But I thought, no, we'll leave it, because well, I'm going to paint round it. And I'm getting ahead of myself. You'll see in a minute what I do. So the transfers come off nicely. So the transfers themselves, easy to use. It's just two errors I made. So the first one, make sure when you are cutting the thing out, not to cut inside the line, otherwise you reduce the size of it. So I say these ones out perfectly, and yeah, they pretty much fill the shield. Because the outer edge on the shield, I do paint in metal. So obviously it's like a metal outer edge and then a wooden inside. So I'd say I made up quite a few, but then some of them, I was like, well, I cut nice and neat around the circle, but it came out small. Why has it come out small? Then I looked at the shields and noticed they're different sizes. So this is error number 2, definitely my mistake. Then I went back and looked at the shields, because I didn't even realize the shields were different sizes. So obviously I've just cut out loads of shields, didn't really look at the numbers when you're putting a shield to a person. But yeah, guys, the shields, who knew? They're different sizes as well. So knowing that, yeah, I'll be able to do things better next time. So with these, because I cut them out, so I cut them out perfectly, but they're just meant for a smaller shield. But luckily, they come off nice and easy. So guys, yeah, learn by my mistakes. Obviously, make mistakes yourself, because I generally think making mistakes is the best way to learn, because sometimes it can be costly, as in money, or it can be costly in time. So when you do make a mistake, the chances of you doing it again are quite slim. So this is the first one. Obviously, this was my mistake of just cutting it inside. So I'm going to paint the outer edge. And as you can see, I've got a lot of browns to choose from. So it is a case of holding it up and seeing which one looks the nearest color. So obviously, as you can see, whenever I get paints, I always paint the lid, just so you can see exactly how it's going to come out. Because sometimes the color on the edge or the outside of the bottle isn't always how the paint looks when it comes out. So yeah, good top tip there. Always paint the lids so you can see exactly what it's going to look like. And then it is a case of touching it up. And I'll have to admit, this came out so much better than I originally thought. Obviously, I did do 2 coats, because we do the first coat and you can see when it dries, it's a whole lot lighter. But the good thing is you can obviously paint over the transfers as well. So to try and feather the color in, so this is obviously where I'm giving it now a second coat, but going over the original shield transfer as well, just helps the whole thing blend in. By the time it was done, yeah, it didn't look too bad at all. Plus all the shields, I've given them all a wash at the end as well. So I did that with all the shields. I went through and, well, tidied them up, made them go right to the very end, even though the very edge I did paint silver anyway. This was just a good bit of practice for me, just to sort of blend in. But any mistakes from me cutting, yeah, not cutting the circles out properly. But yeah, so guys, if you're doing this for the first time, check the size of the shields, because there are different sizes. I think there's at least four different size shields, all round ones, but yeah, it's that little bit different in sizes. So really pleased with how this came out though. So I did this blending sort of thing on all of them, and yeah, not too shabby at all. to say these do get a bit of a wash as well. But yeah, I also thought with the shields, you wouldn't get all nice ones. Some of them are going to be a bit beaten, a bit bashed. Obviously, where someone's coming down with an axe or a sword, it's going to take chunks out of your shield. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it with my shields. Didn't do it with all of them. Did it with probably, I don't know, maybe half of the shields that I've actually done. I've given them little nicks here and there. Some of them have got bigger cuts in them than others. Again, I just thought this is another way of just adding a little bit of realism to these people. Doesn't take long at all to do it, and I think the results are, yeah, definitely worthwhile. So, guys, if you're still with me, well done for, for watching the video. This is definitely going to be one of my longest videos, but I think it's because I absolutely enjoyed doing these miniatures, and I didn't want to sort of leave bits out. I also 3D printed some arrows, just because, well, these guys are going to have arrows rained down on them. That's why they do obviously the shield wall, hold it up high, and then, yeah, hopefully not get an arrow in the eye. So this is where anything that I painted that wasn't a speed paint, I'm going to go over with a wash, just to obviously add some sort of contrast in it. So the wash gets in all the nooks and crannies, and obviously dirties down everything because I don't want anything looking too neat, too precise. So with the skin as well, that was obviously done with a normal acrylic paint. So all the skin needs to have the wash go over it as well. When I first started doing the shield here, I was just going to go around the outer edge and do obviously the metal bit. But in the end, I go over the whole shield, which I'm really pleased that I did. Again, doing that, it just brings everything together. So where I've done obviously all the touching up with the painting, by going over the whole thing with a wash, definitely ties it all in. And yeah, again, I'm really happy with how these chaps came out. Sometimes, guys, I can get heavy-handed with washes. So obviously, you do you. If you want to put a lot of wash on, do a lot of wash. Obviously, when I do put a lot on, sometimes I do take it off because even I think, wow, that's heavy. This isn't a wash. This is a full-on bath. And there we go. Say, I love them. 36 Vikings done in an afternoon. And yeah, as easy as pie. So basing, again, keeping everything simple, especially because there are so many. And well, I like to keep things simple anyway. So with the basing, I've got some PVA glue. Just going to dab it around here and there. I want to still see some of the dirt come through because obviously I want the terrain they're on to be, well, patchy. So it's not like nice, neat dirt. But then again, you've got 36 Vikings walking on your lawn. I think they are going to sort of make it a bit of a mess. So yeah, again, batch painting or batch basing, just doing the same sort of thing to each and every one. And again, it just makes things so much quicker. So I've got my simple sort of this thing's got grass in it. It's 4 different types or 4 different shades of grass mixed up in here. There's some little bits of pork in there. And there's a few little stones. And I say, I think I've had this box about 4 years. It's only recently I've started doing any kind of basing really. And then little tufts. These are great as well. These are nice and cheap. I used to get them off Amazon, but I think I get them off Temu now, just because they are, well, they're dirt cheap. Take a while to get to me sometimes, but again, that doesn't really bother me. But yeah, again, these just add a bit more realism because obviously they've got little leaves on some of them. Some have got nice sort of higher, spikier tufts of grass. And yeah, every one of them will get at least one of these. Some of them might get 2, these so and so's. But yeah, it just adds again a little bit more realism. Because so when I play these games, as well as obviously I want the figures to look great for wargaming and playing, but I also like making dioramas. And again, that's why I love doing all this sort of basing because I don't want you to be able to see that these are on bases. So you've seen recently, guys. Yeah, this is obviously the bridge with the water effect that I did recently. There's a video showing how I made this for the board game. The background there, guys, I get comments on the backgrounds in the photos. That's my monitor. That's my screen in the background. And I just went and Googled countryside. This is the one I chose. I saw loads, obviously, but this is the one I saw. This is a background on my computer. And I've got my table board here raised up so it's in line with the thing. And obviously it makes for a great background when, well, taking pictures of things. And to help look after all the miniatures, I've bought one of these cases. Just because now, obviously, I have got so many miniatures now, and the fact that I've got, well, four or three other warbands to paint, and I think they've all got about 32 miniatures in each one. So this, luckily, has 36 slots, which is great because obviously I've got 36 miniatures. So I can have sort of Vikings on one level, Normans on the next, and then Saxons, and then so on. So I'll probably end up buying, well, 2 or 3 of these cases easily. So one thing I did notice though, just before I was about to sort of wrap up and finish editing, and that is I've not painted any blood on their weapons. And we can't have that because obviously these are Vikings. They are pillaging left, right, and centre. There's there's gonna be a few deaths at their hands. So I like to put on the paint and then just sort of squeeze it in my fingers. This takes off a lot of the paint and makes the paint look like it's well, hopefully blood that's been there quite a while. But yeah, so yeah, I love the shields. I love how they've come out. So doing the old tipping on the things or cutting the edges, and then doing the wash over the top has just done, yeah, a good job, I think. So yeah, adding some blood to all their weapons. But then I thought I'd go a little stage further. Obviously, these guys, they're hacking and slashing at people. We need blood splatter. So the good old toothbrush. I mean, this technique's been around since, well, toothbrushes have been invented. And this is how you'd have seen a recent video where I had a red finger. This is why I had a red finger. I was doing blood spatter on all my miniatures. And again, it's one of these things you can't always see the blood splatter unless you pick up the miniature and look closely. And then you can see little bits of red here and there. But the shields, some of the shields, the blood splatter looks really, really good on the shields. I absolutely love how that's come out. And again, obviously, it's just a great way of making miniatures look a bit more, well, a bit more realistic. And there we go. So there's maybe 36 Vikings, and they look like they've been in the wars already. They mean business. I just love the poses. So guys, check out Victrix down below, the link. Yeah, miniatures, games, everything. Check them out. Lovely people. So yeah, love these guys. So this is my first warband. Obviously, I'm hoping to get the next warband done in about a week's time. And then I should be able to get my first game in. So yeah, let me know down below, guys, if you play this game, what sort of setup I should be looking for. And should I start painting more shields? Because yeah, the chances are most people are going to be having a shield, unless they're the archers who are at the back, I guess. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around for so long. This is a long one. Who are, madam? So we get a like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.